Oh, I have a question. I have a customer that has a question here. So, okay, so you see how fine that is, right? What I did is, and it's still a little tacky, but I got the finest sawdust. It's like literally like dust. See, it isn't regular sawdust. You see that on the ground? So what I usually do with that is I suck it up and I keep as much as I can of it. Now, like this one here, because it's on the side, is a little bit difficult to work with. You see the gap right there? So you have to work a little bit on that. But usually what I do is I mix this stuff. I'll stick it in a tub or something like this, and I'll mix a little bit with it. Now, I have a bunch of dyes too, so I also have some paste. Sometimes I'll use that. You can make it like drywall compound. You're gonna laugh. I've actually used drywall compound, stained the drywall compound, put the glue in it, and I've also used sawdust mixed with it, and then you kind of fool with it to see what happens. Now, because these gaps aren't that bad, I don't usually put a lot on it. Okay, so what I did here, if you take a look at it, you can see some of it shrunk. I have more problems with it shrinking than expanding. So this is the stuff I use. And I like this because you've got a nipple on the bottle here, and you can put it out and it spreads better. I have another one I used. It's got a needle point on it, but you got to make sure that needle point gets clear all the time, otherwise it doesn't work with a crap. But yeah, when I'm doing stuff here, and that's when I suck up, a lot of this. Now, the problem I have with this stuff is it's thick. So you kind of have to fool with stuff. Like I'll use, maybe I'll get some shellac, or depends on what the finish. I don't like to use wipe on poly or anything like that. You could stain it, but my big deal, or putty. I've actually used putty. I don't have any of that. I don't think. Oh, I got to use this for my. But usually what I do, like I say, and you could use Titebond, do the same thing. A Titebond, the only problem with Titebond is it leaves a residue. And it's kind of like it dries kind of a funky tannish. You could prevent that. You could use Titebond to do the same thing. If you don't, I guess I could have used that on here. But I like using the clear stuff because then it doesn't show up as much. And now it's been about an hour or a little over an hour. What I'll do is wait a little bit longer. Then I'll suck up all this stuff, put it back in the canister, and then I'll sand it, because I want to sand it. It'll be dry enough. It's supposed to set up in a couple hours, so it's really quick drying stuff. Then I'll sand it and see what it looks like from there. The same thing here. See that? But if I was going to do that, I wouldn't put anything on it other than, just leaving it finish on it. Because what will happen is, if I put, not wipe on poly, but if I put like a varnish on it, it'll fill in that gap. The first one will usually fill in that gap.